In today's Almond Matters segment, we're joined again by our friend Todd Berkdahl, Field Market Development Specialist with Valent USA. And this week we are talking about pest management in orchards, specifically as it pertains to leaf-footed plant bugs. And so, Todd, let's just start with what kind of problem it's been for growers in recent years with what seems to be an increase in pest pressure.
Yeah, well, leaf-footed plant bug is, it's been around, but I think it's become more prolific in the last few years, especially since the demise of broad spectrum products like chlorpyrifos lorsban. With lorsban going away, dormant applications on trees, they like to overwinter. Or I've seen them primarily in pomegranates. They'll overwinter in the mummied fruit. They'll overwinter. You'll open up a piece of fruit and they'll be full of nymphs. And so if you're not doing something to control either by sanitation, taking all the fruit out of a pomegranate orchard, and you always miss some, and it just takes one to make a whole bunch of leaf-footed plant bugs. But if you're not doing something for orchard sanitation or some type of, broad spectrum application they're there, and they'll move out of those pomegranates onto tree fruit, onto almonds, pistachios. They like pistachios and almonds. The nymphs feed off of the newly emerging fruit. I've seen whole clusters of pistachios just full of leaf-footed plant bugs. And in almonds as well. They'll sting the fruit. They have a proboscis that they stick in. They're a hemipteran insect, so they have a tube that they stick into the fruit, and then they extract the juices from the fruit itself. That initial penetration of the fruit causes damage. Typically, it doesn't develop right, and you'll see a little oozing later on. The tree reacts to it, but the nut itself has been damaged already. So they can be problematic. If you let them go unchecked, they can do a lot of damage. And especially if you're in close proximity to pomegranates, I would say you need to have some type of prevention to take them out before they, take your crop out.
And as part of addressing that issue, you noted some tools have gone away, which have maybe contributed to increasing pest pressure. But what might be a good management approach here for leaf-footed plant bugs?
Well, I think the first time you see the pest, if you can see them, they're big. They're not little. They're big ones. And the adults will fly away. Typically when there's adults, they're either copulating. In the springtime, you'll see them copulate, which means they're going to lay eggs pretty soon. Or you'll see nymphs, a cluster of nymphs, like I said, in a mummied pomegranate, or they'll open up fruit that fell on the ground or still on the tree, and will be full of leaf-footed plant bug nymphs. And they're hungry, so they come out and they feed. So getting the product to the pest is really key. I think killing those adults before they lay their eggs, or during that copulation period, is been pretty effective for some guys. There's a couple of products that that Valent have available. Belay clothianidin is very effective. It's a neonicotinoid, but it's got broad spectrum knockdown as well, and it's registered for leaf-footed plant bug. And the other one's probably my go-to product. It's Danitol. Danitol is broad spectrum pyrethroid. It's pretty hot pyrethroid. It's got activity on a whole bunch of different arthropod pests, including spiders and whatnot. So it's a double barrel shotgun. So you can use those two in combination, or in a program, in combination in a program, or individually as a go-to product for killing the pest. But you got to see them. You got to scout for this pest. Once they've stemmed the fruit, it's too late. So once you see them, and like I said, in the spring, you'll see them copulating on the trees. They're pretty easy to see. You shake a tree and they'll fly off. And once you see them, you've got to be out there and be vigilant about killing them.
So the good thing is that they're fairly easy to scout for, just based on their size, but you do want to stay pretty on top of that to make sure you're able to get those management applications before those numbers get out of hand.
Correct. And again, you can scout for them by looking in mummied fruit, especially if you're near a pomegranate orchard. Like I said, the overwinter on those pomegranates, you can open up mummied fruit, and typically they'll split out anyway in the fall. Turn them upside down, they're full of leaf-footed plant bug if they're there. And then the adults, of course, you could see them on the leaves. They tend to congregate. You see one, you see multiples, but they need to be taken seriously. Otherwise, they can really, damage your fruit. And, it's a pretty easy fix. Go out there and you see them, and you spray with broad spectrum material. Belay's somewhat selective. Danitol is really not selective. Like I say, it'll take out spiders. it'll take out most arthropod pests in general. But if you've got other pests out there, peach twig borer or navel orangeworm, around, it'll kill those as well. So anyway, Danitol is my go-to product. I like to see Danitol. I like the results of Danitol. But Belay is also a very good product, and it's both contact and systemic, so it works with two different methods there.